Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapnadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapatakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamshta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Stute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Jayatam Surataur Pango Mamvanda Materkati Matsarvaswapadam Bhoja Radha Madanamo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees, for very kindly joining on our journey to the South India along with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As we are reading, we are not just reading, but we are traveling with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it's a free travel with no ticket, no money involved. Uh, And this travel is such, it happens only at 9 o'clock at night. It doesn't happen during the day, it happens only at night. So to that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who's taking us on a journey. Mhm. We are privileged to be on a journey with Shachinandan Gauranga Mahaprabhu as he's going to different places and meeting different personalities and imparting different tattvic or shastric principles. We were at the point where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in the South India Yatra and he was spending his time at Srirangam with Venkata Bhatt. And then we also brought the point of the historic conversation of the superiority of Radha Krishna worship or the superiority of Lakshmi Narayan worship, and how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu posed one question after another to the point where our Venkata Bhatt has practically no answer. And he falls at the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, begging Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to enlighten. Prabhu, tumi vakta, tumi shrota. My dear Lord, you are only asking questions and you only know the answers. What can I say? This was Ramananda Rai's predicament also. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asking and Ramananda Rai was answering. And at one point, Ramananda Rai understands. He says, "My dear Lord, tumi vakta, tumi shrota. You are the speaker, you are the listener. Who am I? I'm just an instrument." He says, "My dear Lord, I'm like the puppet and you are the puppeteer." We find this is the same example our Prabhupada also uses when he was in Jaladuta. Kashtera putali yatha. He says, "My dear Lord, I'm the puppet, you are the puppeteer." The puppet moves the way the puppeteer wants to move because the puppeteer has the strings attached to the puppet. So this example originates actually from the Rai Ramananda Samvad, where Ramananda Rai uses the same example to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, saying, "My dear Lord, you are the player of the musical instrument and I am the musical instrument. Like I am the guitar and you are the guitar player. The guitar cannot play all by itself, but the guitar player has to play the guitar in order to make sure the sound emanates everywhere in a nice, sweet fashion." So he says, "My dear Lord, with these examples, you are the speaker, you are the listener, who am I?" So here, Venkata Bhatt says the same thing to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then, of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu illuminates the heart of Venkata Bhatt as to how the Supreme Lord, that is Krishna of Vrindavan, has these four extra qualities that even Vishnu doesn't have. Mhm. Venu Madhuri, Rupa Madhuri, Leela Madhuri, and Prema Madhuri. Adding the 4 to the 60 makes it 64 qualities that Sri Krishna has. I remember in one class, His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Swami Maharaj was asking the audience that we say Krishna has 64 qualities. How many qualities that Balaram have? And different devotees were giving different answers. That, oh Maharaj, I think he has 60 because Anantashesh is there behind him. So it's like Vishnu, so he has 60. And some were saying, no, no, he is little greater, he's a little superior than our Vishnu, but little less than Krishna. So Maharaj, maybe 62, rough figure. And Maharaj was hearing and he was laughing. He said, no, Balaram also has 64. Just like Krishna is 64, Balaram also has 64. The flute playing that Krishna does, even our Balaram can do. The prem that Krishna distributes, even Balaram does. The Leela Madhuri that Krishna has, even Balramji has. The Rupa Madhuri that Krishna has, even Balramji has. Krishna plays the flute, Balramji plays the flute. Krishna has the rasa dance, even Balaramji has the rasa dance. Why? Because we find this praman that when at one point when the demons were getting killed, Dantavakra was getting killed, at that time even Balramji comes to the land of Vrindavan and has his residence with his set of Braja Gopis. This is explained by Srila Jiva Goswami. So even Balramji has his residence, even he has Madhuri pastimes. So all the activities that Krishna does, even our Balramji does. Why? Because Balram is the first expansion. Later from Balram, we have the quadruple expansion and another quadruple expansion, and then the creation continues. But Krishna's first expansion is Balram. So whatever Krishna possesses, the 64, even our Balramji has. And how about Srimati Radharani? Well, Srimati Radharani has actually more than 64, but just on paper, we can take it into consideration that Radharani also has 64. But actually, Srimati Radharani has way more. In fact, our acharyas say even Krishna and Balram have way more than 64. But these 64 are such that a human personality can resonate to these 64 qualities. Otherwise, Rupa Goswami will end up writing multiple books on the qualities just of Krishna. So practically, it's not very feasible. So he just puts a stop at 64. That, oh, Krishna has 64 qualities. But realistically, Krishna has way more than 64. So does Balramji. So does Srimati Radharani. In fact, our acharyas say if Krishna has Venu Madhuri, if Krishna plays the flute, our Radharani is a 10 million times better than Krishna in playing the flute. If Krishna is, uh, if he has Rupa Madhuri, if Krishna is beautiful to look at, Radharani is 10 million times more beautiful. Our Sripad Indra Prabhu would say, if you look at Krishna, you will faint. Hmm? Not I don't have that realization. Sripad Indra Prabhu had it on multiple occasions. He would say, if you see Krishna, you if you see Madhurani, you will die. He will say, if you see my Radharani, you will die. Because the body will not be able to take it. Radharani is that beautiful. It's very interesting how he would frame. He would say, if you see Krishna, you will faint. If you see my Radharani, so much mamata. My Radharani, you will die. So Radharani, even in flute playing, she's better. Even in Rupa Madhuri, she's better. So she is better than Krishna in everything. And this is what puts Krishna into a predicament that how is it that she is my Antaranga Shakti? She is coming from me, but she's better than me in everything. How is this even possible? If someone is coming from you, he should have the qualities that you have. But here, Radharani is coming from Krishna, but she is better than Krishna in everything. There is nothing that Krishna can boast by saying that, oh, I'm better than Radharani in this. Radharani, Krishna loses to Radharani in everything. In fact, our acharyas explain sometimes even in the land of Vrindavan, when there is wrestling pastimes that takes place, our Krishna goes on to challenge Srimati Radharani, and what happens? That Krishna who has killed so many demons, he loses in the hands of Srimati Radharani. So even from a strength perspective, Radharani is superior to our Sri Krishna. So that is why our Gaudi Sampradaya, that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in his the famous pastime that took place in Radhakund in the 1930s, when our Srila Saraswati Thakur was doing parikrama, and there was this king who was offering obeisances to Radhakund. And the disciple of Srila Saraswati Thakur, when he saw this, he looked at Saraswati Thakur and said, my dear Gurudev, what wonderful commitment he has. He is the king, but he's offering obeisances to Radhakund. How wonderful. Srila Saraswati Thakur said, yes, certainly. He has good commitment and he surrendered. But his mood and our mood is different. For him, Krishna is everything. And because Radharani is connected to Krishna as the concert, he offers respect. But he said for the Gaudiyas, Radharani is everything. For us, Radharani is everything. And because Krishna runs around Radharani to gain some attention, we give him also respect and we place him on the altar. But for the Gaudiyas, Srimati Radharani is everything. And that is why we are called Gaudiyas. It's actually Gauri. And the Param Gauri is Srimati Radharani. तो जो परम गौरी या गौरी की उपासना करते हैं वो बनते हैं गौरिया. लेकिन बंगाल में हम देखते हैं वो र बन जाता है ड. So Gauriyas become Gaudiyas. Those who are worshippers of Param Gauri Srimati Radharani. So in the name itself, it's pretty clear that we are worshippers of Radharani. For us, for the Gaudiyas, the Radharani is everything. But at the same time, we also offer our respects to Shri Krishna. As Prabhupada explained, we don't keep Krishna to the side. The highest fructified stage of perfection is when the living entity is completely surrendered to the lotus feet of Radharani. But in the sadhak stage, we do not create difference. For us, Radharani and Krishna both are worshipable, and we have both on the altar. Sometimes we also see that in some places only Krishna is worshipped and there is no Radharani. And Prabhupada would not be very happy with this. Many times where Prabhupada would go to different places and he would just see Krishna, Prabhupada would not be happy, and Prabhupada would remark by saying that Krishna doesn't stay in that place where Radharani is not there. Or his concert is not there, how can Krishna be there? So we never separate them. We always worship Radharani and Krishna together. We always worship Lakshmi Narayan together. We always worship Sita Ram together. And that is where now our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is heading. After meeting Venkata Bhatt wanted to go with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, "My dear Lord, I want to accompany you." And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "That's not possible. As a sannyasi, I'm traveling to different places. I spent 4 months with you." Look at the greed. Krishna, Krishna Bhakti Prasabhavita Mati Kriyatam Yati Kutopi Labhyate Tatra Laulyam. Ramananda Rai says the only ingredient to get Krishna in our life is laulyam, greed. Nothing else, nothing else, and nothing else. These are the words from Ramananda Rai, who's Vishaka Sakhi. Tatra laulyam. Greed is the only thing that gets Krishna. And Venkata after spending 4 months with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is still now wanting to travel with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu somehow convinces him to stay back and be in the land of Sri Rangam and preach the message of the Supreme Lord. At this point, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continues his South India journey and he goes to Madhurai, a very prominent, famous place in South India, Madhurai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to Madhurai, and in Madhurai, he meets a devotee by the name Ramdas Vipra. Now, this Ramdas Vipra, as the name suggests, Ramdas means a servant of Ram, and Vipra means Brahmana. So he was a Brahmana by the name Ramdas. Here in Seattle, we have a Goshala, and um, we have many cows there. Cows, calves, different breeds are also there. We have Indian, American Jersey breed. So it's like a big set of cows that we have. And one of the calf that was born probably 3, 4 months back, devotees were kind of thinking what is the name should be given. And one Prabhupada disciple here came up with the name Ramdas. His name will be Ramdas. And this Ramdas calf that is there is very interesting for the fact that in every home program that we have, this calf comes. Every home program, this Ramdas calf will come and he will sit and he will hear Katha. No mischief. He will sit down. That 1.5 hour Kirtan Katha, he will sit in the class. And then after that, when devotees start petting, he will love that and then he will go back to the farm. So one devotee will get him. Likewise, temple programs. He will come for all the temple programs. Yesterday or day before yesterday, on Sunday, day before yesterday, we had initiations in the temple. One Prabhupada disciple was giving initiations. This calf was there for all the initiation, complete. 14 devotees got initiated. This calf was sitting and kind of blessing. So after everyone got initiated, his tail was used as a purification agent. We see in Krishna Lila also. Mother Yashoda would take the tail of the calf and she would put it on Krishna's head because the tail of the calf or the tail of the cow is considered very pure and it acts as a purifying agent. So here also at ISKCON Seattle, when the 14 devotees are getting initiated, the calf was brought and everyone was getting Mahaprasad. Of whom? Of Ramdas, because that calf name is Ramdas. Hmm? So if someone is coming new here to Seattle, and if we are saying Ramdas, 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 that person may naturally think, oh, it's a person. But then he will come in for a shock when he understands, oh, it's not a person, it's actually a calf that's given the name Ramdas. We had another calf that was born like 2 days back, and he was given the name because he was not 2 days back, 2 weeks back probably, in and around the time of Narsingha Chaturdashi. So he was given the name Narsimha. So he's like a now very small, chota calf, and he was given the name Narsimha. So we have different cows and calves here at ISKCON Seattle Goshala. We have Rukmini, Jambavati, uh, Lakshmana, then Kalindi, Mitravinda, we have Ramdas, we have Narsimha, we have Gaurangi, and they are all, we have Krishna, and then there is another cow who's given the name Chota Krishna. Because both look identical, so they have given another name, Krishna, Chota Krishna. And they are all so loving. Like you pet one cow, and the other cows have FOMO, fear of missing out. So they will also come. And every cow needs attention. You pet one, another will come. And they have this small horn, so they want to push the other cow out, and only they want the attention. They want to be the attention seeker. And in between these cows, Ramdas is like the celebrity. Because naturally you see a cow and then you see a calf, the heart goes towards a calf. So Ramdas is like Chota, he will try to navigate his way in between the legs of the cows, and he gets all the attention. And it's so sweet, the love that the mother cow has for the calf. Even when you bring the calf ahead, the other cows are not very happy because they want the attention. But it's only the mother of Ramdas who will like. It's only the mother of Ramdas who will not want attention, but she will want her child to go ahead and she will start licking. So you see so many beautiful um, interactions and lessons that we can see even from a cow and a calf, and how sweet they are to each other, and how um, throughout the day, unlike India, where the weather is conducive, in America, the weather gets pretty cold. So even for the cows and calves, it's pretty cold. Of course, we have heating facility and other things, but um, it's different. The climate is pretty different from that of India. But nonetheless, we have devotees who work around the clock to maintain these cows, to take care of these cows. So Ramdas is one celebrity. If anyone is happening to come here to America, to Seattle, then you can meet this wonderful celebrity, Ramdas. So the reason we're talking about Ramdas is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Madurai meets a Brahmana by the name Ramdas, Ramdas Vipra. And as the name suggests, he's the servant of Sri Ram. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gets invited for lunch by Ramdas Vipra. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to the house of Ramdas Vipra. And as Mahaprabhu goes to the house of Ramdas Vipra for lunch, Mahaprabhu understands that Ramdas Vipra has not cooked anything. He has invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu home for lunch, but he sees his kitchen is khali. He has not cooked anything. Imagine a host invites you for lunch and you go home and you get the shock that they have not cooked anything. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is thinking, Ramdas, you invited me for lunch, but it seems like you have not cooked anything. What is the thing? Should I eat somewhere else, or what's the thing? Ramdas says, my dear Lord, when Lakshman will go to the forest and bring vegetables, then Sita Maiya will cook. When Sita Maiya cooks, then you will get your prasadam. So till that time, please wait. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hears this, Mahaprabhu loves Ramdas so much that his mind is constantly absorbed in the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So Ramdas Vipra was in the mood that he is in the forest, living as the servant of Prabhu Ram. And Lakshman is going every day to get fruits and vegetables. When he gets it, then Sita Maiya can cook. Once she cooks, then, my dear Lord, we can give it out to the devotees. So, my dear Lord, till that time, you have to wait. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hears this, he is happy for the fact that here is a devotee who's living in Madhurai, which is not a place where primarily you find a worship of Prabhu Sri Ram, but still in a place where worship of Sri Ram is not very prominent. He is manasic, mentally practicing or mentally absorbed. He is conscious of the pastimes of Prabhu Sri Ram, Ram consciousness. We say Krishna consciousness. Here Ramdas Vipra is Ram conscious. constantly thinking about, oh, what will Prabhu Ram do? What will Prabhu Ram do? Now it's this time, what will Ram do? We find in our ISKCON also, we have so many books that talk about what the Supreme Lord does during the 24 hours. Even for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we have books that illustrate what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does during the 24 hours. So if it is 9:20 right now in India, what does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do at 9:20 p.m.? So there are books that illustrate at this time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing. This time Mahaprabhu is there with Sachi Mata. Morning time he is bathing in Ganga. After that, he is going underwater Ganga and pulling the dhoti of the Brahmanas. Another time, he's spending time with Vishnu Priya. Then he is there with Advaita Acharya and other Gangadas Pandit, and he is having Vidya Vilas pastimes. So, 24-hour pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. While at the same time, you have for Radharani and Krishna also. So, being conscious of what the Lord does during the day and what he is doing at the present moment. So, likewise here, Ramdas Vipra is constantly in that mode. So I'll just read out. I kind of just paraphrased, but I'll just read out. Mahaprabhu is going to Madhurai. At Madhurai, Lord Chaitanya bathed in the river Kritamala and met a Brahmana by the name Ramdas Vipra, who was a great devotee of Prabhu Shri Ram. Ramdas invited the Lord for lunch. Seeing that he had not cooked any food, Lord Chaitanya asked him about it. Ramdas said, we are living in the forest, my dear Lord, and cannot get all the ingredients for cooking. When Lakshman brings vegetables, fruits, and roots from the forest, Sita Devi will do the necessary cooking. Lord Chaitanya was very, very satisfied to hear this. And as they're conversing this way, Ramdas Vipra was he was lamenting. He was very upset and he was very sad. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him for the cause, he said, my dear Lord, I'm very upset and very disappointed for the fact that that 10-headed demon Ravan, he touched Maya Sita and even kidnapped her, thinking that how Maya Sita was so innocent that in the time when Prabhu Sri Ram and Lakshman both were not there, she got kidnapped and was taken to the place of Ashok Vatika, where she stayed until Ravan got killed. Ramdas Vipra said, my dear Lord, just thinking about this, just thinking about her kidnap, I can't even sleep. I am lamenting that how did that happen? My dear Lord, if I was there, I would have protected Maya Sita. But I am so unfortunate that I was not there during that time, my dear Lord. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, you can imagine for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is an uddipan. It's a stimulant to see a devotee who's so Ram conscious, who's constantly thinking about the Lord. For Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this was the ultimate that could have been asked for. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him that, my dear Ramdas, actually Sita Devi was not touched. It was the illusionary form of Sita, Mike Sita, that was presented in front of Ravana. And Ravana ended up kidnapping the illusionary form of Sita. But the real Sita hid behind the veil of Yogamaya. Yogamaya carried the real Sita while an illusionary form was presented in front of Ravan. Sripad Aindraprabhu would take this analogy and he would say, this is exactly our situation. Those who, like Ravan, want to exploit Sita like Harinam, then the real Harinam, Shuddhanam, pure name, hides behind the veil of Yogamaya, while an illusionary form of Harinam is presented in front of us, which is nothing but the Nam Apara that we do. Indraprabhu would say holy name is like Sita Devi. But if we have Ravan like Pravruti to exploit Harinam, that oh, by chanting I will get monetary benefit. By chanting I will get bigger house, a bigger car, or whatever. Any monetary gain. Indraprabhu would say this is like Ravana wanting to exploit innocent Sita like Harinam. When that Ravan like Pravruti of exploiting is there, then the real holy name doesn't dance on the tongue because Yogamaya or Pauranamasi Devi will hide the real holy name, that is pure name or Shuddha Nam, and present an imitation form of Nam, which ends up being our Nam Aparad. So fundamentally, the point is the exploitation of Harinam should not be there, just like Ravana's exploitation of Sita Devi is condemned. So here, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu consoles Ramdas Vipra that actually Sita Devi was not kidnapped, Ramdas Vipra becomes satisfied and he becomes very happy. Because if had anyone else told him this, there would still be a lingering thought in his head. But now that it is coming from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Prabhu Ram himself, Ramdas Vipra was completely satisfied. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on his South India journey meets Ramananda Rai at Godavari. Then he's coming to different places, comes to Srirangam, spends 4 months in Srirangam, then goes to Madurai. In Madurai meets Ramdas Vipra, and now Mahaprabhu continues his onward journey. Continuing his reformative pilgrimage, Lord Chaitanya visited Durvashana, Mahendra Shaila, and reached Setu Bandha. At Setu Bandha, he listened to the Kurma Puran among the assembly of Brahmanas about Srimati Sita Devi. Among chaste women, she is the supreme. When Ravana came to kidnap her, she took shelter of the fire god Agni. Agni covered her body and brought her to goddess Parvati. Ravana took only an illusionary form of Sita Devi. After Lord Ram killed Ravana, he brought the illusionary Sita before the fire for a test. That's the Agni Pariksha. Then Agni made that illusionary form disappear and delivered the real Sita to Prabhu Sri Ram. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was pleased and took the original old manuscript leaves of the Kurma Puran and brought them to Ramdas Vipra at Madhurai. The text was copied onto new leaves in order that the Puran be replaced. So look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even after going to Setu Bandha, even after leaving Madurai, he hears the pastime and gets the Sakshat Praman as to how Sita Devi was not, the real Sita Devi was not kidnapped. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes those leaves, walks all the way back to Madurai, gives it to Ramdas Vipra, so that his heart is completely convinced that what I said is not mental concoction, but this is the Shastrik Praman. Actually, there was no need for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to even do this. But the Lord whom we worship has no other business apart from pleasing his devotees, and the devotees have no other business apart from pleasing their Lord. We see in Chaitanya Caritāmṛta also, Prabhu Sri Ram has been glorified so much that we have this pastime as to how one Muslim gentleman was one time in the forest attending to nature's call. And as he was attending to nature's call in the forest, there was a wild boar that started chasing him. And as this wild boar started chasing this Muslim gentleman, he didn't know what to do, so he started running. And as he started running, we find in the Muslim tradition, he was looking out to the wild boar and started saying, Haram, Haram, which means you're condemned. Not very, it's not something that is used often. But he said, Haram, Haram. Haram iti puna puna, uktvapi muktim apnoti kim punaha shraddhaya grinan. Damstri damshatam lecha arameti puna puna. Uktvapi muktim apnoti kim puna shraddhaya grinan. When he was saying haram, 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 here the Supreme Lord Prabhu Ram, he says, oh, my devotee is calling me haram, 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 haram iti puna puna. Uktvapi muktim apnoti. Uktvapi, the moment he said it, muktim apnoti, he became liberated. Kaviraj Goswami says, Kim puna shraddhaya grinan. What more has to be said? If someone without faith, while attending nature's call, is saying haram and he gets the benefit of haram, then how much more benefit will that person get who chants the name of Sri Ram with shraddha, with faith? What supreme destination lies for him? Uktvapi muktim apnoti kim punaha shraddhaya grana. What more has to be spoken now? If this is what a person gets, if someone inadvertently accidentally chants out the name of Narayan, not referring to the Supreme Lord, but actually referring out or calling out to his own son, if that person can get the darshan of Vishnu Dutas, what to speak of someone who chants with faith? So, time and again, this point has been brought that without faith, if someone chants, so much fruit is there to obtain. So, what to speak of that person who chants with utmost faith and sincerity and commitment? So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes back to Madurai only to give the manuscripts to Ramdas Vipra for two reasons. First, to convince him of the point that Mahaprabhu had made earlier, and second, to copy that to the new leaves so that the scripture still remains. Ramdas Vipra was very, very pleased and fell at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and said while crying, Sir, you are Ram himself who came as a sannyasi to deliver me from an unhappy condition. Hmm. We see in Prabhupada's purports, Prabhupada oftentimes he uses Sir in many purports also. Sir, do this. Now we practically see it's the bhav of Srila Prabhupada. Hmm. Because this is technically, if we see Ramdas Vipra, while addressing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, would have somewhat said like, "Hey Prabhu, that my dear Lord, please do it." But Prabhupada, out of his bhav, bhakti within the purports, in many purports he will write. Even when Prahlad is speaking to his teachers, he will say, "My dear sir," which is a traditional British way of addressing. But Prabhupada, out of his bhav, he will write, "My dear sir, please do this." So here also, Prabhupada is writing, Ramdas Vipra is telling Mahaprabhu, "Sir, you are Ram himself, who came as a sannyasi to deliver me from an unhappy condition. Please take leave. Due to my distress, I could not offer you a nice lunch the other day. Now, by good fortune, you have come again to my home." Saying this, he happily cooked a first class meal and offered it to Lord Chaitanya. Hmm. So apparently, he cooked the meal, which only means Lakshman has got all the vegetables, Sita Devi has done all the cooking, and now the cooking is complete, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is getting it. Saying this, he happily cooked a first class meal and offered it to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord then proceeded towards the river Tamaraparni in Pandya Desh, Kanyakumari, Mallara Desh, and finally reached a place called Betapani. Betapani. These are all probably places in the South India. At Betapani, the Bhattaharis, Prabhupada writes, the Bhattaharis are a gypsy group. They allowed Krishnadas with women. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he left Jagannath Puri, he didn't want any servant. He wanted to travel alone. But somehow Swarup Damodar Goswami and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya convinced Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, my dear Lord, you will always be busy. Why? Because they say that, my dear Lord, your one hand will be chanting constantly, and second hand will be counting what you're chanting. So your both hands will be busy. Your tongue will be busy because you're chanting the holy name. So, my dear Lord, you need someone who can carry your kamandalu. You need someone who can carry your dress. You need someone who can help you in your basic activities, my dear Lord, so that your holy name can be nirantar. It can be continuous. So even though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not very, very willing to take anyone on his journey, somehow Krishnadas, one of the servants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was brought into the picture, who was carrying Kamandalu, who was carrying the cloth of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and who was helping Mahaprabhu as Mahaprabhu's both hands and tongue were busy. One hand was busy chanting, another hand is busy counting, because during those days, probably there was no concept of counters, like the way we have. So Mahaprabhu in his hands would count, like how in Gayatri it is counted. Those were Gayatri initiated, Brahmani initiated. In our hands it is counted. So Mahaprabhu would count that way. While in the right hand he would chant, and his tongue was also busy. So her servant was brought so that he can assist Mahaprabhu in basic activities. Now, while they are in South India tour at Vetapani, this Krishna Das gets allured with women. He was simple and gentle, but they polluted his intelligence by their bad association, and Krishna Das went to their place. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also went there quickly and asked the Bhattaharis, "Why are you keeping my Brahman assistant? I am a sannyasi, and so are you. Yet you are purposefully giving me pain." The Bhattaharis then came with weapons from all sides, desiring to hurt Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. However, their weapons fell from their hands and struck their own bodies. When some of them were thus cut into pieces, the others ran away. Śrī Caitanya then grabbed Krishnadas by his hair and took him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, understanding his servant has strayed away and swayed away, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes there, rescues him, grabs him by the hair and gets him back. So the Lord whom we worship is so kind and so merciful. Once we join Krishna consciousness, even if we apparently leave the practice, the Lord will make sure that somehow or the other He gets us back. Either through devotees, either through prasadam, either through classes, either through kirtans. It's very difficult. Once someone joins the Krishna conscious movement, it's very, very difficult to completely give it up. Even though someone may not be practicing, still the thought will be there in the head. Some kirtan, some tune, some prasadam, something will be there in the head. But once you have joined this ISKCON movement, once you have joined this practice of Krishna consciousness, it is very, very difficult to go back to the old life. So here also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his servant gets a little swayed away. Mahaprabhu personally goes and rescues and gets him back. And getting him back was little uh, graphic because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just doesn't get him back. He grabs him by the hair and gets him back. Almost to tell the servant that make sure it doesn't happen again. One time you're saved and you're rescued, but make sure it doesn't happen again. And Prabhupada gives some very important lessons here. This Krishnadas, by the way, his complete name was Kala Krishnadas. Because we have another Krishnadas also. Dina Krishna Dasa Kahe Nama Sankirtan Shri Janava Pada Padma Puriya Smaran Dina Krishna Dasa Kahe Nama Sankirtan. Here also Krishnadas has been named, but this is not Kala Krishnadas. This is another Krishnadas. And this Krishnadas is another. So we have couple of Krishnadas in Mahaprabhu's Leela. So the Krishnadas who is referred here is Kala Krishnadas. In Jai Radha Jai Krishna Jai Vrindavan song, it is Krishnadas. There is no other uh, suffix that is added before his name. It is as Krishnadas, but here it is Kala Krishnadas. Prabhupada says, unless one is very, very cautious, the distractions in this world can drag away the person, even from a most protected situation. Second, the Lord's boundless compassion doesn't allow him to disown his devotees, even if they sometimes act against his will. Srila Prabhupada also, would so many times, he would say that I can never give up on my disciples. I can never reject them. How much ever they get swayed away or whatever, Prabhupada would say, once the Sri Guru was accepted, Sri Guru can never give up on the disciple. He can never reject the disciple. That is out of question. So that was the second point. And third, healthy fear of destruction, honest focus on goals, and heartfelt prayers for protection keep us safe on the path of spiritual life. Three important points. Healthy fear of destruction, having this fear that I may get swayed away, I may get distracted. So it's like keeping a control on the horse. The horse, if it goes here and there, the master again pulls it back. So a healthy fear of distraction that if I go here, I may get distracted. One time, one disciple of Prabhupada, he said, my dear Prabhupada, I want to go for preaching. I want to go for book distribution. Prabhupada said, "Where?" He said, Prabhupada, I want to go to the nightclub to distribute books. Prabhupada said, you have the permission to go to nightclub, but make sure you also come back. Don't just stay there. Make sure you also come back. So a healthy fear of distraction. Second, honest focus on the goals. Wanting to have a clear-cut goal, what our sadhya is. This is the sadhana and that's the sadhya. That's our goal. That's our prayojan. And third, heartfelt prayers for protection. All three keep us safe on the path of spiritual life. In this way, we end our discussion here, dear devotees. We spoke about how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu concluded his discussions with Venkata Bhatt. he proceeded onwards to meet Ramdas Vipra at Madhurai. Then he went again to a few other places, and at Setu Banda, he heard the same pastime of Sita Devi not being touched by Ravana. He got that manuscripts, the old leaves of Kurma Puran, and got it back to Ramdas Vipra for two purposes: to console his heart, and second, so that that old script or the old leaves can be copied to the new leaves. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then had lunch at the house of Ramdas Vipra, to the point where eventually at a place called as Vetapani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rescues Kala Krishnadas from the gypsy group called as the Bhatta Haris. And Prabhupada gives three important principles for the sadhakas that one should keep in mind in order to make sure that our Krishna consciousness is at check. Having said this, we humbly stop here, dear devotees.